Good morning. We're learning about Joseph and the events that are found in his life. And there are some things that we find difficult to understand. And in analyzing a Torah story, you have to learn certain basic elements of the underpinnings of Jewish theology. I've told you about the three branches of the river, of how Jewish people have studied, how they've answered questions, and the way in which they study and they answer questions are the way in which they deal with life. And the way in which they deal with life is reflective of how events unfold in their own lives. You see, there are different people in this world having different talents. And you and I are normal, ordinary people. I know some people say, well, you're a rabbi with a beard, but I'm ordinary, an ordinary person who happens to be a rabbi. There are people in this world who have a sense of faith and devotion that's far beyond my capacity. And they see God in everything that appears to them and every involvement that they have, every thought, every experience is another chapter in coming closer to God and seeing God. Joseph was such a person, and we must examine the lessons of the story of Joseph. And so this is a series on Joseph and his coat of many colors as to how we can understand his person, and from that, understand our own lives. So we'll start with the story of Joseph and his brothers. His mother dies at a very young age. He's 7.5 when his mother dies, and his brothers hate him. They hate him because he's the apple of his father's eye. First of all, his mother was the favorite, and so that gets passed on to the child. The second thing is, he's very, very handsome, unusually handsome, and he's smart as anything that ever walked the face of the earth. And he's charming, and he's got an ability to get things done like no one else. Put it together, you got a great package, but you also have the elements of a difficult childhood. You see, his brothers are all jealous of him. Now, they were also smart and handsome, strong and organized, and therefore, they don't want anybody telling them what to do. But being the next to the youngest, and for all intents and purposes the youngest, because Benjamin is by, in their eyes, a baby, Joseph becomes a thorn in their sides because their father not only loves him more than the others, but puts him in charge. That's taking the knife and twisting it. And then, to make matters worse, Father Jacob rewards Joseph with a cloak of many colors, which was a symbol of royalty, of grandeur, because he was to be the head of the brothers, the head of the brotherhood, because he could get things done. And he was the one that had to deal with other people and other nobility. And whenever they had to negotiate from that point on with people in the communities, it was Joseph who had to deal with them. Joseph was at the tender age of 17, put into charge of the vast holdings of Jacob. The brothers didn't like this, not one bit. And they can't speak to him. In fact, when he comes to see them, they suddenly have other things to do. He's not stupid. He sees exactly what's happening. And in fact, as somebody who's their supervisor, feels it's his obligation to bring whatever faults that they may have in conduct, in dealing with people, morality, religion. He has to bring back a report to his father. That's his job, to bring back a report. And so here he is. He's hated by his brothers. His father gives him a cloak of many colors. They hate him even more. And he has a dream. And the question is, why would he tell this dream to his brothers? He dreams that they're all working in the field and they're bundling together their sheaves, huge sheaves, maybe 3-4 feet high, putting it together. This is their work and their effort. And in the end, they're all in a semicircle or a circle. His sheaf jumps, stands up, and the other sheaves make a circle around his sheaf, and they bow down to his sheaf, indicating that all the brothers, with all of their work, have to bow down to him, because he's the chief honcho, he's the big kahuna. Now, what is he telling them? He's telling them this is not his doing. He's telling them it's not father's error. This is coming from God. This is a dream that's coming from God. This is a prophecy. Why would you want to start up with a prophecy? That's what he was telling them. How did they react? Look at this kid, this piece of chutzpah, trying to be bigger than himself and trying to tell us what to do. He thinks he's so smart, he's smarter than us, and all he thinks about is how he can be on top of us and make us second-class citizens, just like our father made Uncle Esav, into a second-class citizen. And just like our grandfather made our granduncle Yishmael a second, he's going to do that to us. That's what he's thinking. We're not going to let him. And not only won't we let him, but this is evil. He's dreaming of domination. This is no good. This is showing how callous, corrupt he is. And he goes and he actually says his prophecy to us. Now, why would a person having a prophecy say something to somebody else if he wasn't told to say it to somebody else? The only reason why he would tell us the prophecy, if he believes it's a prophecy, is because a prophecy has to be said in order for it to happen. So here's this kid, has this depraved idea that he wants to dominate us, and then has the chutzpah to talk about it, instead of trying to hide it, become one of us, be one of the boys, one of the group. Instead, he's got to dominate, he's got to be the chief. It shows you how depraved and how despicable he is. And so, his dream added to their anger and the fact that he told them his dream.